All right, fellas, we're going to go ahead and drop 1K stones on this Dragon Ball Heroes banner. See what we can do with it, right? So I think overall, you look at a lot of these units, and I actually think a lot of them are quite good. And then you have some that are just kind of okay, and then you have some that are bad, right? So I think the ones that I would put in the pretty good to really good camp, I really do like the full power Saiyan 4 Limits Broken Goku. I think he's actually pretty good. You have Super Hearts, who of course is a big bad bosses unit. I definitely think he's pretty damn good as well. I think Fizz Vegeta is in the okay camp. I would say AGL Cooler is in the okay camp. I think the modified Janemba, I think he's actually, there's Cooler, right? I think he's going to be good in the future. Same thing with Cooler, right? But right now they kind of just go in the okay camp. If Janemba, so he's got this mechanic where he has a high chance to guard for the first 5 turns, and when he gets the guard, it's active, right? However, after those first 5 turns, he's rocking, 400k defense. And he does raise defense for 3 turns, right? So that is good. There's a Super Saiyan God, right? Super Saiyan God is really the only animation that matters on this particular banner, because it means extra SSRs, right? So I actually needed one more copy of that guy. That's an unfeatured unit. Very uncommon on this banner, right? We'll talk about it here in a bit. So, again, I like those 2 units, but I think they're going to be much, much better in the future. There is actually my first of many, many, many copies of that modified Janemba. And there he is, right? The main headliner unit, the Saiyan 4, which is so stupid, the full power Saiyan 4 Limits Broken Goku, right? So, again, I like what a lot of these units have to bring. My one criticism of a lot of these Heroes units is I don't like that they are limited to either Dragon Ball Heroes or crossover. I think that it just limits them way too much. You look at like the Goku and the Vegeta, and they are limited in the fact that you have to have a Goku and a Vegeta. You look at the Gohan, right? The Super Saiyan 4 Gohan. You got to have Giant 8 power. That one is a little more manageable to me because it's Giant 8 power, right? And there are some good Heroes Giant 8 power units. And then, hello, you've got LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? You've got Int Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, who certainly can still hold his own, right? So you've got some good Giant 8 power units, even the LR Super Saiyan 4s, right? Even the TUR Super Saiyan 4s. They're not anything to write home about anymore, but they are still solid, right? I mean, you can still run them in, spot events. I believe I'm kind of, at a certain point, you start to lose track, after 20... We haven't done 20 multis yet, but 2 Golden Coolers there on that multi. We can talk a bit about Golden Cooler. I think Golden Cooler is going to be a unit that's going to be good down the line. I really, really like the skeleton of him. So he's got the potential to triple super attack. He's getting 20% damage reduction for free. And then he's getting additional damage reduction with extra crossover units, right? 6% per crossover unit, up to 30%. So that's, pretty good. 50% damage reduction. There's another copy of our boy Goku, right? We'll talk about him in a minute. But again, that Golden Metal Cooler, I really like just like the skeleton of him. He's not really hitting the hardest. He's an SSR, right? He's got SSR stats. So I think when his passive is boosted, in 2 years or whatever, when he gets his awakening, unless they change things up, it's possible they change things up in the future. Maybe he gets his awakening next year. You never know, right? As this game does get older, they could potentially accelerate, things of that nature, right? You never know what could happen, right? So, but I like that Golden Metal Cooler. He seems really good. He's going to link up pretty well with the Golden Cooler, right? So that guy, we'll talk a little bit about the EZA units too. But yeah, again, I like him. The Tech Janemba, I think the way that he works in that he's getting this high chance to guard, that's annoying, right? High chance to guard, but when he activates it, it's active for the first 5 turns of battle. So that, if you can get it active on turn 1, so if you get that to proc on turn 1, and then he's got guard for 5 turns, that's good, right? And he can rock, with Big Bad Bosses active and such. He's at, 400, almost 500k defense in some situations after he stacked up a couple of super attacks. He does raise defense for 3 turns. He's solid, man. I mean, the problem is after turn 5 and he's got no guard anymore, that's scary, right? Particularly, I was running him against Fu, right, in the new Super Dragon Ball Heroes Red Zone. That's scary, right, when he loses out on his guard. There's another copy of our boy Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Let's go ahead and talk about the Super Saiyan 4s. So, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? I've pulled a few copies of him at this point. I like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I think that at the very least, dude, you can run him on another team. At some point, dude, I don't know when, but at some point we will get another, like a decent full power leader, and you can actually activate other pieces of him, right? When you look at him, like, full picture, you look at his passive, he's very good when he is fully maxed out, built up, right? He's very nasty. We'll talk about that turd in a minute, Vegeta. But Goku, I do quite like. So he's got 30% damage reduction for free. Pretty good, right? Now, okay, I say for free. It's not really for free. You have to be on a either full power team or a Dragon Ball Heroes team, right? And that is the limitation of this guy. But at the very least, I think full power has a lot of good units on it. And I think eventually it will get a better leader. So that is something to look forward to with this guy. When he gets hit 7 times, he gets an additional attack and defense 40% and guaranteed crits. And it really seems to make a difference. He's getting, it seems to add a lot onto him, for sure. So I really like the design of him. And then, of course, he does provide 40% support to the rest of the rotation when there's a Vegeta on the team. So they really do want him to be run alongside the Super Saiyan 4 full power, whatever limits broken Vegeta. So we can talk about Vegeta. So Vegeta, in a lot of ways, he's meant to, I guess, more or less complement the Goku, or kind of be like a lot. You know how it goes. Like a lot of times, they're either trying to complement one another or they're trying to like mirror one another in some ways. And I just feel like in this particular situation, Vegeta, dude, just got the shaft. He really just got. Again, he does a lot of the same things that Goku does. So his stipulation is you got to be on a full Dragon Ball Heroes team, or you have to be on a full Grade 8 Power or Giant 8 Power team, which I like. Giant 8 Power has some good units on it, for sure. We talked about Gohan a little bit. So when you fulfill that condition, he's getting the guaranteed double super. And then but the real head scratcher with Vegeta, I just don't really get what they were doing with it. So after he performs 5 supers, which technically you could get on turn 5, right? We just talked about his guaranteed additional. So you could potentially, if you have him on turn 1, he double supers. You get him on turn 3, he triple supers. And then on turn 5, he gets an additional 40% attack and defense, which is great. And then he disables enemies' guard. And you compare that to Goku's guaranteed crits, and it's just not even close, dog. Like, I don't know. Vegeta can get some decent defense, he can. But you take Goku's damage reduction over Vegeta's defense any fucking day of the week. That's just the way it is. Damage reduction surpasses defense in almost, unless it's in 1.5 million defense or something, which not really any units in the game can hit that, I don't think. Short of it being a very, very long event, stacking for a long, long time. So, I just don't know what they were doing with Vegeta in that regard. I think that he can still hit some pretty impressive numbers. But, again, you're talking about, rainbowed or at least a couple of dupes in him for him to hit decent numbers. So, they're okay. I like Goku, I think, better than Vegeta. I guess we can move on to some other units on the banner. So we knew that Gohan and Bardock would be good. I think Gohan easily gets the win here. Gohan with his 50% damage reduction with 2 or more Giant 8 Power units on the team absolutely wins out over Bardock's super effective against all types, and then crits. I really do. Bardock can do some decent damage, and he does seal. He does raise attack and defense on super. you know, he's sitting there at rainbow status. He's sitting there with, like, start to turn like 300k defense, and then he gets a 30% raise. I mean, he's right around 400k. But y'all know, man, 400k in today's meta, the red zone meta, dude, 400k is not enough. There's like my 12th Rebelu, or Rebel, whatever her name translates to. So anyway, the Super Saiyan 4 Bardock, I don't like. Gohan, I do like. Gohan seems really, really nasty to me. He's sitting there. He starts with about 250k defense-ish, you know, Rainbow level 10 links and such, on the 200% leader skill. So I do like him with that 50% damage reduction. And then again, he does raise defense on Super. So he can do some, I don't want to say he can do decent damage. I gave him mostly dodge. I didn't give him full dodge, but I went a little heavier on the dodge with him. I just feel like his defensive viability is much more important with him because he's just a defensive unit, right? He doesn't need to do a lot of damage. That's not really what his role is. He's meant to sit there in slot 1. He's a slot 1 guy. He is, especially type advantage. So if you're up against Cell Max, for instance, he's going to absolutely dominate Cell Max, right? 50% damage reduction is really good with type advantage for sure. So he'll be a Cell Max killer, so that is good. I guess we can move on to the other units on the banner. Again, there's another Robel, dude. I'm just so tired of pulling that broad. Let's talk about Robel. So Robel, I actually think, is pretty fucking good. She's got a high chance to dodge. She's a Rainbow Orb Changer. And she has a 70% chance for the Scouter. I mean, you look at those things, she's pretty solid right off the rip. The other main headlining unit is Hearts. I think Hearts might be kind of the low-key best unit of the bunch. Him and Goku, I think, are pretty close in different ways. Base form Hearts. He's guarding, he's supporting, he's a big bad boss's unit. He's solid, right? And then when he gets to Ultra Hearts, when he transforms, he actually becomes really nasty. So he's raising defense for 1 turn, greatly raising attack. He can do some very, very nice damage for sure. And he can triple super attack when the full rotation or the full team is extreme class Dragon Ball Heroes, right? So he's really good. And then, of course, the Supreme Kai of Time Brainwashed, I quite like, dude. There might not be a harder hitter in the game. There probably is. I don't know the APT. But in her best situation, when the target enemy is attack down, defense down, stunned, and sealed, she's getting additional 100% attack buffs for all of those different things. Not to mention start of turn attack and defense 100%, and attack and defense 100% when performing a super attack. So we didn't really talk about the EZA units. I guess I kind of ran out of time, but we'll go ahead and wrap up the video here. 1,000 stones in. There she is, right on cue. So I will go ahead and end it here. Slap a like. Catch you in the next one. Later.